Hey, Andrew Sutton here from danceninjas.com, and I want to talk about a surefire method to both improve your students and make sure they fall in love with your classes. Right? These are the two fundamental things you got to do in order to be a great teacher, is improve your students and make sure they love your classes. If you do those two things, your students will continue to come back for year after year. But if you don't do those two things, right, if you improve your students but they don't love your classes, eventually they're going to go elsewhere, right? And if you get your students to love your classes but they don't improve, they might stick around a little longer, but they're still eventually going to seek classes that actually improve their dancing. So all you have to do, improve your students and make sure they love your classes. And this technique is one of my favorite techniques to do that. It's called fail to succeed. Now, the concept is that when you're teaching a class, you actually want the students to first fail and then you want them to succeed, right? But you don't want them just to go through the whole class succeeding the whole time, right? And it's okay, it's not to say you can't do that, but if you think about it, if they always succeed, everything they do, they can do, and they never fail, then you never actually checked and proved that they couldn't do the end goal, right? If you, say, wanted them to do some movement at the end, you take them baby steps through it, you scaffold them through it, right? And then at the end, they're able to do that move. Well, how do you know at the beginning that they weren't able to do that move anyway, right? That's why you start at the beginning with the move. You say, okay, everyone, try this move, and you see how they do. And then if they can't do it, then you break it down and you start building it up for them. You use the scaffolding technique to actually build it up for them. But don't just go straight into the move, don't just build right from the beginning and assume that they can't do that move. Go ahead and try it out, let them fail, and then help them towards their goal. Now, the cool thing about this is, one, if they fail first, right, and then they succeed, then that's absolute 100% verifiable proof that you have improved their dancing. You just took them from not being able to do something to being able to do something, right? So that's one cool thing about it. But the other cool thing about it is it does make them love your classes more because they get that, like, dopamine, I think it is, or maybe it's the myelin, I don't know. There's something in their brain, I forget the exact word, but that causes synapses to connect when they actually overcome a struggle. And that causes feelings of joy that people love. They love overcoming things, right? So if they never actually have the struggle, you're never giving them the chance to overcome that struggle, right? So by giving them the chance to overcome it, you're actually getting them to fall in love with your class a little bit more on like a subconscious level, as well as a conscious level. They're going to notice and they're going to be like, yeah, you really helped me out with that. Thank you, right? Now, the other thing I want to warn about is you don't want to do something that's so hard that they constantly fail and they never succeed, right? That's the other possible error you could go into, is just constantly making them fail, and then they never succeed, and then they come out of your class going, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to do this, right? Now, some instructors can get away with this. I have seen a few instructors that are just so inspiring that the people come out of the class going, I'm going to figure out a way, I'm going to practice really hard, and I'm going to figure it out, and by next week I'll have it, right? So it is possible that you could push them, and maybe they don't get it in class, but you are really inspiring, and you've got to be like, you see my energy right now with you, like you got to be 10 times that with the class. You got to be like, come on guys, let's do this thing, right? Like that's the kind of energy that you got to have in order to inspire them to really be like, I want this even when I go home, right? So if you're not doing that kind of energy, then I wouldn't make them fail, and always fail. I'd let them fail at first and then help them succeed. And here's the other cool thing about this structure. Let's say you try out, you go, okay, let's try this move, and you try it and they don't fail. They succeed right at the first time. Well, guess what? You don't have to teach that move. You can now move on and take them further in their dancing. Maybe a little fancier move on that or something. Or if it's a concept, you can go deeper into the concept, right? So it's actually a great method for a lot of different reasons. So again, the concept is fail to succeed, right? Let them fail first and then get them to succeed, right? If you do that, they will love you for it and they will improve their dancing. Now, if you want more free teaching tips, go to danceninjas.com and sign up for our free teaching tips.